Now, the serious unrest in the Middle East, with the two most armed nations, Israel and Iran, trading missiles and drone attacks, it raises again the question about the world geopolitics and how non-Western nations, including China and Russia, might react. On markets, it impacts oil and gold prices in the short term. Further out, even some of Australia's trade agreements could come into question. John Kunkel is Senior Economics Advisor at the United States Studies Centre and joins me now. John, always good to chat to you. One of the issues last time you talked about with me when Donald Trump was imposing tariffs was the ripple effect around the world. Surely also there is a ripple impact from what is happening in the Middle East right now.
Well, look, Ross, absolutely. I mean, I think what this really underscores the last 3 or 4 days is our economies operate under a context of politics and geopolitics in particular. So we've obviously seen President Trump leave the G7 meeting early to deal with these issues. And it really just underscores that we're operating in enormous uncertainty. I think President Trump will be seeing this moment as a point where to put maximum pressure on Iran. Obviously, America's a staunch supporter of Israel, but equally, he's made speeches about, the folly of outside powers really trying to restructure the Middle East. So, as usual with President Trump, he'll make up his own mind and he can surprise us.
But the interesting part about this is it's been part of a campaign. The weakening of Hezbollah, the weakening of Hamas means that some of Iran's traditional supporters in that area, which would disrupt any operations such as this, are not there right now. The Houthi rebels, there's been attacks on their positions as well. So really, in terms of the geopolitics, having Iran weakened also then, does compromise potentially what happens in Russia and Ukraine and even the support for China.
Look, I think, we'll see where President Trump wants to take this. I mean, interestingly, he's been talking about Russia and China in the context of the G7. So he's obviously very comfortable dealing with other world powers, including authoritarian powers, in this context. And often he will look to those leaders even before he looks to allies and partners. So it's a very volatile moment. I think his natural instinct would be to use the moment to escalate with a view to then de-escalate. And we'll see whether that... you're right, the regime in Tehran has been significantly weakened over a period of time. Now, it's probably too much to say it's a paper tiger, but it is in a degraded state. And I think there's a point at which probably both Netanyahu and Trump see it as an opportunity. But equally, President Trump has always been someone who likes to point to the possibility of peace and to try to de-escalate at the same time. So we'll see where this goes. It could go on for some while, indeed for weeks yet.
And he's de-escalated certainly in the trade wars. There's no doubt there are truces all over the place with various countries and deals done with China and with Canada, with Mexico. He signed a free trade deal with the UK, with Keir Starmer while he was there at the G7 meeting in Canada. So again, it's the deal making that really is taking place. But there was no deal for Australia.
No, that's right. There was lots of speculation, obviously. I think, if we step back, though, and we see what's happening in the Middle East, it really, I think, should make people put things into perspective. We can get upset about a 10% tariff, but when the world's aflame and in parts of the Middle East, it's obviously incredibly unstable at the moment. It really puts those things in perspective. So I don't think, we can quibble about what might be happening on tariffs on any day. But as I said, it really underscores that the geopolitical context is the basis for which our economies can operate in any sort of stable footing. President Trump is keen to do deals. There's no doubt about that. But I think it'd be premature to suggest that all the trade tensions are going to settle down. A lot of them are a little bit band-aid solutions to get through the moment, and they're talks about talks. So there's an awful lot to go, in not just for Australia, but for a whole range of countries, because President Trump said that at some point he'll just sign a series of letters and say, you know, this is the tariff you've got. So we're in a very unstable moment, both geopolitically and economically at the moment.
But it gives you almost a sense of Australia's role. It's a place really in the world. It's important for some parts of defence, but when it comes to trade deals right now, clearly dealing with the Middle East was a lot more important than dealing with the Australian Prime Minister.
Absolutely. But look, I think, you know, Prime Minister Albanese is a realist. He'll take that on at face value. I think really what it underscores, Ross, is we've got a lot of work to do back in our own country anyway and getting our house in order, whether it's the fiscal situation, the productivity, the defence capability. There's an awful lot for us to be getting on with. So the Prime Minister's had a big election win. There's a productivity roundtable coming up. I suggest we'll take this opportunity to come back and actually you know, look at the context in which we're now operating internationally. We do need to be more competitive.
Great stuff. John Kunkel, always good to chat to you. Many thanks for your time.